What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. In this absolutely beautiful classic Nike box, I've got the brand new Nike Premier 3 in a stunning gold colorway. Let's hop into the unboxing. One of the things I love about the fact that what the Premier 3 represents is it's Nike's classic football boot, and they've put it in the classic orange box. For those of you who don't know, this is actually Nike's brand color, this orange, and then black and white obviously, but Nike's brand color is this orange, which is really, really cool. It's a fun fact that I didn't actually know until fairly recently. Nothing there, little sizing action on that one side. So you've got the Nike Premier 3 in firm ground in metallic gold grain and white, which is very cool. These are a 9 US, which is a UK 8 in the Nike sizing, 27 centimeters and a Euro 42.5, 10.5 in women's for those of you who are looking for women's sizing as well. And then we've got the Nike swoosh there. So here we go. Now my understanding of this football boot, ooh, I can see the gold already. Bam. Oh my goodness. What a, okay, so this is like gold, but off gold. Like it's like a muted gold. It's not gold like those Neymars. I think they were called like Touch of Gold or whatever. This is a really good looking colorway though, with the white, like proper white accents. This reminds me of the gold colorway Tiempo. Was it Tiempo like 1 or 2? Do you guys remember? Leave it down in the comment section below. I'll try to find it. But there was a Tiempo that was almost exactly, if not exactly, the same colorway with the kind of muted metallic gold color that had the white tongue, the white accents and everything, and I think Ronaldinho wore them. They might have even been in a Ronaldinho specific colorway. But anyway, very, very cool. So that is the Nike Premier 3. Let's get the other one out of the box. Of course, with a classic football boot like this, you actually don't get a string bag, surprise, surprise. So that is, I'm sort of being sarcastic. It's not surprising at all. One of the things that Nike boasts for this football boot that I think is interesting, fun, cool, is they say it's like a 2-in-1 football boot, and you can see with this tag, you can actually, they advertise that you can cut off the tag. So you've got the Nike Premier logoing there, and then on the back side of the tongue, there's actually a little scissors icon and a line where you would cut it. So if you were somebody who doesn't really like the look of the classic tongue, or you have a thing about, you know, maybe you feel like it gets in the way, or whatever your justification is, it doesn't matter because it's up to you, it's your boots. You can cut off the tongue if you want to. I had some friends who who just cut off the tongue because they were like, I don't really like it, and I want a more kind of modern look. Because if you take the tongue out, it does look a little bit more modern, which is kind of cool. Looks more like a Tiempo Legend 4 Elite in that way. So let's get these back down here. And then this is the Nike Premier 3. So this is a really interesting boot because as far as my research goes online, and you can yell at me if you think you know differently in the comment section below. This will be an educational, I'm gonna take this sticker out because it is just annoying the hell out of me. You can tell me in the comments, yell at me if you want to. My understanding, this is gonna sound insane, all of the marketing materials that I've seen online have said that this boot is now synthetic. And it kind of feels like synthetic now. It kind of feels like fake leather compared to older generation Premier 3s, but I'm not sure. It has the graininess of leather for sure, but I'm really not sure. And that is an interesting conundrum that I find myself in. So supposedly, there was one source that said this was the same K-leather. It's like the last K-leather boot from Nike. But all the other marketing materials, websites, and brochures that I found about this football boot all said they were synthetic now, which is really interesting because Nike didn't say anything about that, which is funny because Nike loves a good marketing scheme, and for them to flip the Tiempo and do the whole story about the Tiempo, but then leave this completely off. If this is synthetic, which if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's fair enough. Like the blue pair, which was the first pair of Nike Premier 3s that I reviewed, those I'm almost positive were leather. These I'm genuinely not sure because it feels a little bit synthetic-y, like it feels a little fake, but yeah, I honestly don't know. I'm gonna have to ask a Nike rep because this is weird. I'm genuinely not sure. So if you are for sure and you actually know, let me know down in the comment section below. As I said, fold over tongue, you can take it or leave it. I'm gonna leave it because I think it looks super cool and classy, and these are absolutely just going in the collection, whether they fit or not. It'll be a great boot that I can put kind of up behind me somewhere. I've got actually a whole other box of like 10 of these, so I can, extend it or mix and match boots and change up the background and all that stuff, which is great. So yeah, very cool football boot, very classic, similar to the Copa Icon from Adidas. You've got New Balance 442. All of those are very, very simple stud patterns, simple uppers, whether they're synthetic or leather doesn't really matter. It's more of the low cost variant of each of the brands lineup, which Nike has done here in the form of the Premier 3. You've got conical studs, so really nice for both AG and FG. And as you can see, the conical studs are actually quite neutral in the sense that they are not very long, which means you can absolutely play on AG and FG. With the blue pair that I had, I didn't do any play tests, but I did do quite a bit of training in them on AG pitches when I played in Michigan. And those were all AG pitches, wore them on the pitches next to the AG pitch, which was FG. So I got a sense of kind of both what they felt like. And the Soleplate was fine as far as traction goes, no issues as far as traction. But similar to the New Balance 442, the Soleplate just is quite flexible. Like there's very limited responsiveness when it comes to the Soleplate. Yes, there's a decent amount of rigidity here through where this cool little embossed graphic is with the Nike swoosh and these little kind of, I don't know, fleur-de-lis looking things, but this is a very, very flexible sole plate, not a lot of structure there, and it feels that way. This is a very raw sensation football boot, not a lot of BS going on here as well. One thing that I mentioned in the blue boots review, which I really like, is this Nike Premier logoing with sort of I don't even know what they are. Are they griffins here on the back or something with the king and the Nike Premier? I think that detailing is really, really cool, and I do think that is a feature of this boot. It was updated from the previous generation that I think is just a nice little touch and makes it, especially in the gold colorway, look very, very premium as well. So that's really it for this football boot. I think rate the colorway out of 10 down below. This is one of those boots that is definitely going to live in my collection, whether I decide to test it or not. I probably will, just to give you guys sort of an updated model of what that test for this boot looks like, and we will go from there. So without further ado, let's hop into the on-feet portion of the video, and we'll do a little talk about the sizing, how they fit and feel, what the kind of touch on the ball is just juggling, and then we'll get into some final conclusions. Let's hop into it. All right, fam, out here on pitch with the really nice looking gold and white Nike Premier. Let's get these on feet. I have reviewed, obviously, that older blue model. I think these look absolutely sensational. I love gold and white football boots. Very, very cool. So these are definitely a kind of a classic boot. Unfortunately, I don't think these are leather anymore at all, which is kind of a bummer. So Nike is moving completely away from the leather, but first impressions, yeah, nice. Very classic. I actually wore the Premier for a few training sessions as well back when I played for Michigan, as I mentioned before, and yeah, these are very, very comfortable football boots. I think these will fit pretty much anybody. Far as sizing goes, these are a 9 US and they fit my toe right on the end, which is great. I'm just gonna single knot these here, flip this over and throw that tongue down. Nice. Okay, there you go. It's so impressive how much these look like those old Ronaldinho Tiempos. So that's, if you guys were into those, or if you had those at some point in your career, definitely a cool throwback colorway. I do like the fact that Nike with the Premier seems to be pretty liberal as far as the types of colorways they go for. So they really try and just pump out as many. There's been some cool nostalgic colorways. There's been some kind of classic black and white colorways, white and black colorways. And then they're doing stuff like this that are, very nostalgic, very, very of the time, of the era of this type of classic looking football boot. But there you go. Nike Premier 3. And I can't really say if I think these are softer than the leather version. I'm pretty sure, trying these on now, I think these are synthetic. I definitely think these are like a synthetic leather. I don't know if these are, you know, like an old Kangalite type material, like if they based this boot on that type of material. It definitely feels like the old Tiempo Legend 3 Elite, that maroon with the carbon fiber that I have, that I really, really love and enjoy. They are on my boot wall, so maybe I'll throw up a photo of those. But these are pretty comfortable still, even though they're not leather. I'm almost positive now that they're not leather. They are still comfortable. You can see me wiggling my toes. Definitely still a nice shape for most foot types. And as you can see, as I'll back up a little bit and kind of do that, you can see where my foot is the widest there in the midfoot area, and the boot seems to be bending and molding around my foot really, really well. So that's a full look at the boots. Again, they do look absolutely classic. The sole plate is fine. It is no better than the New Balance 442, no better than, you know, some of the other, I would say like Morelia 2, obviously different category, like different echelon of football boots. Obviously these are like a quarter of the price of those, but something more like the classic football boots, you're gonna get a sole plate that's very similar to this, which is not a whole lot of structure, all conical studs, which is great for AG if you wanna wear something like this on AG. And I would say that for the most part, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna suit what this boot is. This is not meant to be like a high performance football boot. This is just meant to be the classic football boot that has, you know, pretty good touch, very plush, and then just has that classic look and feel. Touch on the ball with the Nike Premier is very plush for sure. I wouldn't say it's pillowy soft by any means, but it is definitely padded. So if you're looking for a pretty padded sensation on feet from a, you know, touch perspective, maybe from a little bit of protection perspective, although I always tell people don't worry about the protection of a football boot, because if you get stepped on, you get stepped on. It's going to hurt no matter what. But for me, this is definitely a little more padded sensation. These are quite a thicker upper than I think most people are used to, probably. The one pet peeve I have is that this tongue does not really stay down too much. The Velcro is pretty crap, so there is a chance that I might just cut the tongue and then they'll look like that, which is a little more, it goes from like Tiempo 1 to Tiempo 4, which is kind of cool. So you got a little dual personality there, which is nice. You do have a little bit of extra padding here on that little area there on the lateral side, and then right there on kind of the knuckle of your foot, you've got that like perforated leather, well, synthetic, but perforated synthetic here on the knuckle of the midfoot, of the medial side of the forefoot as well. So overall, really lovely colorway. I do really like how these look. Am I gonna wear them for, you know, a lot of training sessions? No. Will I keep them in my collection because they look cool and they're gold? Yeah, probably. So, you know, for me, they're a fun boot to have if you're looking for like a pretty inexpensive classic football boot. Unfortunately, I can't recommend these over a New Balance 442. New Balance 442 is objectively better, and they still have leather. That's obviously in the same price range. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more luxurious than this, and is also that is actually kangaroo leather, I'd recommend Adler, and I'd recommend Mizuno. You can get the Mizuno Elite models. You don't have to go for the Made in Japan models, so it's only, you know, maybe probably $80 or $70 more expensive than these, which I know is a lot of money, but they are quite a bit more quality. So, but that being said, if you're looking for this classic boot, you really can't go wrong with the Nike Premier. It's been the same for so long. Generations 1, 2, and 3 are basically the same. And so, yeah, for me, decent football boots. Maybe we'll do a play test in these. We'll see. I'm still not sure. I probably will, just because it's a fun boot. And actually, a lot of people ask me about the Nike Premiers. It's probably because where that price point sits. So if you are somebody who is in that market for right around the Nike Premier price point, I would highly suggest you test out the New Balance 442. I think it is a superior boot in basically every way, other than the heritage of a colorway or the way that this looks with the tongue, right? So if you're obsessed with that look, fair play, go for the Premier. If you're really looking for something that's actually gonna perform a little bit better, go for the New Balance 442. So that's gonna wrap up my review and unboxing of the Nike Premier 3. If you guys do have questions that I didn't answer in this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like the video if you got value from it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see y'all in the next video.